Welcome to Pursue Wellness. This show is by chiropractors and for chiropractors, helping you with practical science for better patient results, physiology and labs, rehab and exercise, supplements and nutrition, unfounded trends, no opinions, just science. Let's get started.
Hey there, I'm Dr. Callerina Woodard, and today on the Pursue Wellness podcast, we're going to be talking about trends. We're circling back into the topic of trends, and specifically the fact that so many trends, especially in the health and wellness world, try to market tools or quick and easy solutions versus 100% uncovering the root cause of someone's issue, what that marketing tool is trying to solve. So today I'm going to be talking about lymphatic drainage. I see it all the time. It's being marketed, especially for females, on our faces, tools that help get rid of puffiness or help our complexion. And then there's also tools that are meant to help swelling in our legs or get rid of cellulite, things like that. So these are all tools, which I'm not totally against tools. What I am trying to say, though, is that there are physiological reasons our body responds in these ways, swelling, puffiness, and that those are the things that need to be looked at first before relying on some kind of tool. So let's get into the information. Now, when I talk about lymphatic drainage, I'm not talking about the diagnosed medical conditions where people are suffering from serious edema. I'm talking about the things that are being marketed to the vast majority of men and women that are just trying to make a cosmetic difference. Let's go over what those tools look like. What we're seeing most commonly are things like gua sha tools, and gua sha, when it comes to fascial release, like I've mentioned several times, I'm an athlete. I've had gua sha technique done. It is extremely helpful for releasing the fascia. However, marketing it as something that you can use every now and again on your face to change the appearance without getting to the underlying root cause of what's really causing that puffiness, that swelling, isn't ideal. Also, the ice rollers, that's going to help get rid of inflammation. Facial brushes, and then the vibrating devices. I've been seeing TikTok marketing the little brushes that if you sweep in a certain pattern, these cause less puffiness. They'll claim to cause a sharper jawline or that more snatched look. And these results aren't fake, but they are misunderstood results. And at the end of the day, that's what I really want people to get, is the physiology behind the results that they're looking for. So what does the physiology say? What is lymphatic drainage? That is the movement of interstitial fluid through the lymphatic system. And it mostly depends on muscle contraction, regular movement, and exercise. This is huge. This is why people get swelling in their feet or their ankles on long car rides, because they're just sitting, letting that fluid pool versus using muscle to contract. So when it comes to the lymphatic system too, versus our circulatory system that has our heart as a pump to continue moving our blood, our lymphatic system is going to depend on muscle contraction, breathing, the movement of our diaphragm. So shallow breathing is going to cause more swelling because we're not getting as much rib expansion and movement of that diaphragm, which helps change the pressure and move lymphatic fluid, as well as hydration. If our hydration status is off, the cell will start to pull water out to help maintain blood volume. And then this also has to do with nervous system tone. And nervous system tone, as chiropractors, we understand that a good amount more. But overall, what is your nervous system doing with your muscle tension and your tone that's going to be impacting how well that lymph is flowing? Now, I'm talking about lymph as far as puffiness and swelling. We also know this has a huge piece to do with the immune system. I'm not going to talk about that specifically. Let's just talk about the cosmetic piece. When it comes to what's causing the swelling, it's more of that fluid retention, high sodium, low potassium balance. That's poor nutrient balance content, poor hydration, as well as blood sugar dysregulation. Insulin, whenever it is up and down, it's going to cause more sodium retention, which is going to lead to that swelling, that puffiness. Inflammation from ultra-processed, those omega-6 high diets, as well as alcohol, causes our body to retain more inflammation. And poor gut health, microbiome health is going to impact the leakiness and how our body responds to more inflammation. And then cortisol and stress. We all know about aldosterone, about cortisol, and how that impacts where the fluid is going to be going in our system. So what do these devices do? What are they claiming to do? The things like the brush that are supposed to give you that sharp, nice jawline and get rid of that puffiness under your eyes, they are mechanically moving fluid temporarily. And if you look this up, there are lymphatic charts that cosmetically these devices are trying to follow. So they're going to move that lymph out of your face, they're going to move that lymph out of your leg, and then also increase inflammation, which will temporarily reduce the puffiness. However, temporarily, if you're not taking care of the underlying physiology of this, puffiness will just continue to come back, and this is going to be something you have to do forever. This is what it does not do. It does not fix inflammation. It does not fix the hormone signaling. It does not better your hydration status or fix the inflamed food-related edema. These results don't last because fluid will redistribute within hours. Like I said, the root cause is still there, and your body's going to return to baseline once a few hours have gone by of brushing that fluid out of the way. Your body's just going to fill that back in if physiology is never addressed. So how do we address the physiology so that we don't have bathroom cabinet full of just devices that are supposed to temporarily fix our swelling and fix our puffiness? First off, we have to understand that chronic swelling, whether that be ankles, legs, arms, or face, is related to a blood sugar instability. And I talk about it all the time, how important it is that we have stable blood sugar throughout the day, that we're eating consistent meals full of high quality protein. Amino acids are essential for when it comes to overall health and fluid retention, as well as complex carbohydrates, fiber, and omega-3 fats, because that's going to help so much with the chronic inflammation piece. Also, poor sleep and poor recovery is going to lead to more puffiness. That's just a piece of the stress model. Gut dysfunction and hormonal imbalances. So if we're trying to figure out, if a patient comes to us and they're like, I always have this swelling in my jawline or underneath my eyes, what are things we should be looking at instead of just try this device that we saw on TikTok? We need to be looking at their metabolic health. So their fasting insulin, their A1C, other things within the metabolic panel, the electrolyte balance. That's going to have a lot to do overall with how their body's handling the inflammation and the fluid, as well as their cortisol patterns. That's going to tell us what's going on with their nervous system, and that's going to tell us how well they're recovering. So if we can address these things, if red flags are popping up with these things, there's no tool that's going to permanently fix this. They're going to see much better cosmetic results and health results by addressing these things first. So what works in the long term? Number one, even without someone needing to do blood work to figure out why they have puffiness all the time, or why they feel like they're holding fluid, or why they feel like they need to take a water pill or use some kind of tool or device, we need to make sure you have a real conversation with them about the importance of hydration and electrolytes. This helps the most when it comes to fluid retention and pain. And I talked about it last week with joint health. The fact that if your physiology senses that you are dehydrated, it will steal fluid and redistribute to the areas that are going to prioritize survival. Puffiness underneath your jawline and puffiness underneath your eyes, or puffiness in your ankle, is not as important as maintaining blood volume. Or pain in your joints, having fluid around your joints is not as important as maintaining the rest of the cellular hydration. So that hydration is a huge piece, as well as blood sugar control, having protein and fiber with every meal, and avoiding ultra-processed foods and chemicals and toxins, which also cause inflammation. Movement. You can't undervalue the importance of getting up and walking, having strong muscle, so you have strong, efficient contractions to move your lymphatics. this is going to help move the needle so much. And so many people think that light walking or the devices that just move your feet and pump your feet throughout the day are going to do the job. No, you have to have strong muscle so that you have strong muscle tone, so that whenever you move, you're going to be clearing out the lymphatics. Overall, your sleep, your nutrition, potassium-rich foods to help with the potassium-sodium balance, and then overall your gut health, which is going to have everything to do with immune system health, of course, but also your inflammation. These tools, they're not bad. They're just being marketed as something that is a fix when they're not. They're Band-Aids. So I don't want to come across as whenever I see these trends, I'm anti-trend, or I'm anti-TikTok shop, or I'm anti-Instagram influencer. It's more that it's important that people understand the physiology behind what causes their problem that they're looking for a solution for. Because whenever you're empowered with that knowledge, my hydration is actually why I'm puffy. I don't need this tool. I need to just drink more water. Or when you're empowered with all this information, you're less likely to waste money and get frustrated on things that are only there for temporary results. Overall, it's gonna benefit you health-wise to improve your muscular tone, to improve your blood sugar balance, to improve your hydration status so that circulation is better. These kind of things are not big solutions for chronic swelling or poor skin quality. Overall health is your nutrient status. Those are the things that are most important when it comes to your appearance, when it comes to anything cosmetic. So instead of asking, my body's holding on to fluid, what tool can I use to get rid of that? Think, my body's holding on to fluid. What am I doing physiologically, or what am I putting into my body that's causing my body to not work optimally? This is a great conversation to have with your patients. This is a conversation I would have with my patients, with my friends, with my family, anybody. It's all about the root cause and why your physiology is doing what it's doing. And by being empowered with that knowledge, being empowered with understanding what your body really needs, you're not going to fall for all of the marketing schemes. Again, these are the ones that are being marketed at for people that are overall generally healthy, not people with diagnosed medical conditions that are causing them to have extra edema and extra swelling. It's more the cosmetic things, the TikTok things, the quick, easy solutions that we're wasting our money on versus fixing the root cause. I hope this helps you have some better conversations with your patients this week. Have a good rest of your day.